What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast. We talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So thank you for tuning in. Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask a CISSP, and then Fridays everything else, movies, books, games, and all that good stuff. But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. This article comes from Forbes.com. Okay. And written by Tony Bradley. That's an easier name than the one in the last episode. So yeah, I got this one pretty easy. The title of this one is How Agentic AI is Revolutionizing Security and How to Keep It Safe. All right. So Agentic AI, pretty much what it's talking about is the autonomous AI, right? So this is the AI you see in the movies that's going to kill us all. So like it's pretty much what it's talking about.
There's no positives, no positive spin.
I'm not saying there's no positives, but like when you see it in the movies, it's not the traditional AI, because traditional AI is something where it's kind of you give it the focus, you tell it, hey, this is what I want, it meets it, that's it. There's no improvement on top of that. That's not what Agentic AI does, right? It's pretty much autonomous, and it's like, okay, it still has a goal in mind, but it's doing it on its own to improve on how to get there, right? And it's a game changer. It really is, right? So it operates independently, right? So it's doing its own thing, and what you have the tendency to happen is people tend to fire and forget when you're dealing with agentic AI, right? So because of that, it leaves it as a vector for people to get in. Like if for whatever reason it's utilized to do nefarious things, because you're like, oh, I already set it to do whatever it needs to do. That's a new risk that you're not thinking about, right? You're like, okay, I've set it to do whatever, it's doing it. Every so often you may check in, but you're not looking too deep into it, right? Because the anticipation is that it is doing the work for me, and it is supposed to be learning pretty much from what I tell it, right? So it's something you got to be careful with, right? So these become attractive targets for malicious actors is pretty much what goes on here, right? And they're going to continuously, these attackers they're going to be innovative, and they're going to come up with new ways to exploit these AI systems, right? So we got to be careful with what we're putting out there and how much we're actually paying attention to it, right? So there's safeguards you can do, right? So authentication and authorization, right? They talk about making sure as it gains more responsibilities, you're doing a better job of making sure the authentication for it is legitimate, right? Output validation, like what is given to you actually is what you need. Don't just automatically assume the answers you're getting from the AI are automatically what they are, right? You have to actually do some validation and say, okay, this is reliable, and it's with our standards that we're trying to do, right? So that's one of the things you have to do. Sandboxing is always a good one, right? Like keeping it kind of separated from systems that are live, that may be out there, or at least until it's ready. Let me not say all the time, right? You can't keep something sandboxed and expect it not to do anything, right? It won't do anything if it's sandboxed for you, but make sure you're sandboxing when you're trying to make it learn certain behaviors or things of that nature, right? They talk about logging. They talk about continuous testing and monitoring. So things that are proper practices that we already do and should be doing, right? They talk about doing those things anyway, right? So the reason they do this is so that you don't actually lose control of AI, right? So AI being out there, yes, it is very much helping everything that's going on in the world today, right? Like we love to have it, we love it for it to reduce the time spent for tasks that we didn't want to spend all that time on. But there's a balance to this, right? You still have to consider the security that goes along with that, because again, you can't just assume whatever it's doing is automatically for the good of whatever I'm telling it to do, because it doesn't know that right now anyway, right? Give it a few years, it'll be different, right? It will rise up against us, but for now, right? You can't just automatically assume that. Were you gonna say something, Ryan?
No, I was just laughing. It will rise up against us.
It will rise up against us, right? But no, it's again, the agentic AI is more what people are going to lean to instead of the traditional, right? Because the traditional AI, again, it takes more time, right? You have to do manual retraining for it. You have to tell it, like, if it gives you a wrong answer, it's not going to take it upon itself to try to get to the goal that was ultimately set for it, right? You have to do it manually. So yeah, agentic it's constantly and continually improving upon itself. But Ryan, what's your thoughts on this, man?
I mean, I'm excited. I'm the person who welcomes in Skynet with open arms. I love the concept, right? Like we're finally here. Like this is what we thought was going to happen during our childhood, right? It's actually happening in real time. So I'm super excited. My concern as a cybersecurity professional is that they're going to eventually try to replace alerts and things of that nature, like the proactive stances when it comes to cybersecurity. To a certain extent, that's a good thing, right? Like we'll be quicker, be more agile. This is a tool to augment human capability, right? This thing is person logs, and then able to respond to low level threats or change firewall configuration, things of that nature to keep us safe. My problem with it is it being in the hands of the bad guys, right? So if we have a tool, they have a tool. They usually have more time to tinker with that tool than we do. We always talk about idle hands on the podcast. So my concern is that it will be used in good faith, but it'll also be used for bad things. But also my concern is people's laziness, right? So just because you can build a thing and it can do a thing doesn't mean that you get to take away responsibility. You don't get to take your hands off the wheel and say, my AI agent will take care of it. And I think that's going to happen a lot, especially when it first dawns, right? When people actually have these things in their hands. Because we have agents now, right? You can do simple tasks where it's like, okay, you're my editor when I give you said whatever, you're going to edit it. You're my thumbnail designer, yada, yada, yada. But this will truly be like you are, my firewall. You will adapt as necessary. You are, in charge of patch management. So as new patches come in, you'll vet them and then you will implement. So it's definitely going to be a quicker augmentation tool, because we talk about all the time when it comes to like CVVS. What's the owner of new vulnerabilities? Like not HBSS.
It's a C. What you're talking about is not the owner. CVEs? You talking about CVEs or?
Yeah, I'm thinking CVEs. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So CVEs that are years old that people are not taken into account. You still got Log4j or Log4j or whatever you want to call it. You have Heartbleed. You have WannaCry. Like these things are still out there. We know of them and we know that they're a problem, but we don't have people who are actively engaged or companies that can afford to have people who are actively engaged to patch and remediate these things. So they still persist. So having agents that can go out there and vet, they know, let's say that they're tuned in to your baseline network. They know how it should look, what it should be doing and responding. They know the serial numbers of the equipment. They know what patches are out there to implement. They know to a certain extent which ones will harm the environment or protect the environment. And then you say, go forth and conquer. What happens when they push a bad patch and they take down production, right? Who's responsible for that? What happens if an autonomous car decides to accelerate instead of brake, right, and hurt somebody? These systems are more like the way that they look right now. They look to be more reliable than people, but we know of incidents that happen, right? There's a person who's decapitated by an autonomous vehicle because it couldn't tell that the tanker truck in front of it wasn't a truck, right? It thought it was the sky because the color was painted, right? There's just certain things that happen because of bad programming or because of a decision has to be made by the autonomous system and it 50-50 shot. It chose wrong. Boom. Someone's hurt or injured. And because I don't want to sound the alarm for whatever reason, because I do want these things to happen. You're safer in an autonomous vehicle with other autonomous vehicles around you than you would be in a human controlled vehicle with other humans around you, right? Like it's just the way it is. But then when you mix and match is where I have the problem as well, right? Like no environment is just all agents. No environment is just all humans. Like we have to have collaboration, and then who's in charge? You would assume the human. And that's the issue. Like, are we going to have to onboard and offboard AI agents in the future, right? Like for certain tasks? Because we talk about giving them the proper when it comes to what files they have access to, what information they have access to, what buttons they can flip and things of that nature. So they're becoming like interns to a certain extent. We're grooming them to be more human-like, and I think that they will achieve that at some point. But then when something happens, right? Again, 50-50 shot, or the 1% chance that this would happen, and it happens, and someone is hurt, injured, or killed. Who is responsible, right? Is it the AI agent, or is it the person somewhere in the chain?
And I think that's the point of the discussion, right? Is to not just automatically assume that everything is good, right? Just because you have that. There is human intervention that's needed. You should still be paying attention.
We always push it. we like humans. If we can be lazy, we will be lazy at all costs.
It's like the people. I don't know if you saw the reports years ago, right? But when I think it was Tesla that was testing out the autonomous driving, people would just be sleeping in the cars, like while it's on the road. Like there was reports of people sleeping in the cars.
Yeah, I saw people driving by people and they're sleeping in the car. And I mean, the car is technically safer behind the AI's hands than the person. But then what happens when it makes a mistake? They're gonna be like, why were you asleep?
But it's to the point that you brought up about the decapitation. Yes, you should. If that person, and I'm not familiar with the story totally, right? But like, if that person was awake and paying attention, like your human interaction could have stopped that, right? Like you could still press the brake and do whatever.
Yeah, you would have discerned like, nope, that's not. There's something in front of me, right? And they see ghosts and things of that nature too, right? Like you always see the videos of like people driving through graveyards and they're seeing like apparitions or whatever. But that's on regular streets as well. But I want to be in the future, right? I just want us to get there safely. So we can't take our hands off the wheel by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
And that's a concern.
You want a specific future, because from when we started this episode, you're already in the future. You're 10, 12 minutes into the future right now from where we started, right? Like you want a different type of future though.
Yeah, the utopic where, there's, I guess there'd be universal living wage or something. I don't know how that would work, but when you have robots doing all the work, that's the future, right? Like I just tend my garden, swim my pool, right? Before the AI uprising takes place. But we'll see what comes of it. Like this is something we cannot stop. Because I want them as well. Like when I'm doing the podcast stuff, like to have somebody who I can just, because I always have to prompt things, right? Like I have all these GPTs and prompts. I still have to get them rolling, right? And yeah, it saves me a ton of time and money and energy and all that good stuff. But what if I don't have to do that, right? It's just you have your Jarvis already doing these things for you. Like this, we come in, mic's hot, we record, and then throughout the week, it just does the rest.
See, you think it's Jarvis. I think it's Vicky. I think the NS5s will rise up against us. Like,
right.
You're thinking it's Jarvis and Friday.
Right. So that's the vision, right? That's the hope that happens in the future. But again, we have no idea what that hopefully utopic, not dystopic future looks like. But we're right there. We're on the cusp, right, of your GPTs and your agentic AIs making the world a better place. But again, it's always going to be humans. Because I talked about this with Kane McGladrey from Hyperproof, right? He's the field CISO over there, brilliant guy. When it comes to writing policy and things of that nature, you don't want to give that to AI. You know, like, hey, write me the policy and all the guidelines. Like it can be used as a tool to augment you. It can do the research. It can round off the verbiage, because I use it to cut down on. I could just ramble sometimes in the email. I'm like, hey, make this more like clarify, edit for clarity, and they'd be like, boop, here you go. I'm like, that sounds great. Push, right? It's very useful tool. It's just you have to be careful. Like we're right there. We're getting to the point where it's just like, this is a good idea, it's a bad idea. Because we talked about hospitals, right? Like what happens when you walk in and it's not a doctor anymore, right? A human doctor. It's it's a machine, and it could treat you and save you or whatever. But in those cases where people die, like there'll have to be a scrub of data and things of that nature. Like, was it the AI doctor's fault, or was it that this person couldn't be saved? Like, how's that going to work?
But what is the goal as well, right? So like if you have an AI doctor, if you have like some type of Android or whatever, like the goal is to perform whatever surgery, right? Is it at all costs? Like if for whatever reason my response to it is excessive pain, that I'm like, okay, we need to stop and do something different. It's like, well, that's not the goal. I need to keep going forward until I accomplish my goal. I still need to pull your appendix out or whatever it may be, right?
Oh man, I even cut it out. I need to pull it out.
Whatever it may be. But yeah, so like there has to be that. What is that stop for it to where it's like, yes, I have a goal, but what are the things that will allow it to change from that goal, right?
Right. Yeah. So again, we'll see what the future holds. I'm super excited. I'm pumped. All right, over here. But again, like Shannon, like I told you so. Like as we're fighting the World War III is actually us versus the machines. Me and you in the trenches. I told you this was gonna happen. So we'll see. But hit up all the websites that go by our name. The Other Side of the Firewall, the Other Side of the FW, or Ask CISSP. Hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me pretty much on all the platforms, but LinkedIn is where I'm most active. Stay safe. Stay secure.